Welcome back to our Let's Talk Tri Delta podcast. My name is Lexi Leggs, and I am Tri Delta's new Chapter Success Manager for Operations, which is a fancy title for someone who supports our chapter officers in all things operations, whether it's officer training and development, slating and onboarding, and I also have the pleasure of supervising our lovely team of chapter development consultants. But today I am back and serving as your podcast host, and I am so excited to be back here. When Sarah Bills from our Beta Psi chapter at Union College and moved next door to Alison Hillhouse from our Beta Sigma chapter at the University of Virginia in Sleepy Hollow, New York, the two became fast friends. They discovered that they were not only Tri Delta sisters, but that they were also both musically talented. Together with 4 other local moms, they started the Mom Band in Alison's garage, proving that it's never too late to pursue your dreams. And today we are so excited to have Sarah and Alison here with us on the podcast to share a little bit about your journey. So please help me to welcome them to the podcast. Welcome, Sarah and Alison. How are y'all today?
Thank you. Happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Awesome. And it's so great to have a chance to talk to you all and learn a little bit more about this band that you formed in your garage. We'll get back to a little bit of that in just a second, but we actually want to start off with your journey. So talking about how you chose to attend the institutions that you did and what brought you to Tri Delta. Would you share a little bit about those experiences?
Sure. So I went to the University of Virginia.
Who are you, by the way?
Oh, I need to start with my name.
Just so they know what you're doing.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Alison Hillhouse. I went to the University of Virginia. I'm originally from St. Louis, and I think I chose UVA because it was a gorgeous campus. It was fun. It was full of smart people, and it had an active Greek life, which is something that interested me. Absolutely. And I chose Tri Delta because when I went through Rush, they were the girls who were the most down to earth, fun, and funny. They had a really good sense of humor, and that made me feel like that was the place I wanted to call home.
Love that. Yeah.
Well, I'm Sarah Bills. So yes, I grew up in Connecticut, and I chose Union College because it was a driving distance from where I grew up, and I wanted kind of a small liberal arts environment. And so it was funny. Greek life really wasn't much on my radar, but as soon as I got on campus, I saw how important it was to not only kind of like the social scene, but also I saw all the great work they were doing kind of as far as like philanthropy and just like being out and about on campus. And our recruitment wasn't until sophomore year. So I actually got to know a lot of the Tri Deltas as a freshman. And once I did, I knew that's exactly the house I wanted to be in.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely.
I have this vintage cup from 1998 that I brought out for the occasion from a Tri Delta sorority. So hopefully if any of my sisters are watching, they will appreciate this.
I love the memorabilia. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your stories and what brought you to Tri Delta. I think I love the most, Sarah, is that you shared that it wasn't something that was really on your radar. I think I kind of also had a similar experience, but seeing how big Tri Delta is in my life and now yours and seeing those connections, it's just so awe-inspiring just to see that come together in full circle and see that lifetime engagement there. So let's talk about how you all met and what it was like discovering that you had a shared Tri Delta connection. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, so we met just right before the pandemic in the streets of Sleepy Hollow, New York. We kept running into each other on walks, and soon our kids became friends, and we're just practically next door neighbors from each other. And I don't know when we discovered that we were Tri Delta sisters.
I don't know. But as soon as we did, it like made sense. I was like, oh, okay, this actually, because we had just like a connection off the bat. And then we did, when we found out, we're like, oh, of course, like that totally makes sense. So
yeah, absolutely. I love that. And then, how did you find out about the shared musical experience and about your music backgrounds? How did we get to that?
So I had studied like music in college, and then I was in an a cappella group for many years in New York City. And I just had always been looking for an outlet. And so I think in one of the times that we've been chatting, just like watching our kids play in the streets, she'd mentioned she'd play guitar. And I was like, oh, well, I sing. And I know Alison had always had aspirations to be in a band. So I think we just kind of started talking about music in that way. And then I think you were the one who really had the idea.
Yeah. When I first moved to the neighborhood, so a little bit about my background in guitar. I learned to play acoustic guitar in college, and one of my first performances was Pref's night in Tri Delta at UVA. And we had this tradition. So I used to sit around and sing with my sorority sisters all the time. I'd play guitar and they'd sing because we like didn't have cell phones and we didn't have anything else to do. So that was kind of a hobby of ours before we go out at night. And so for Preps Night, there was a tradition in our house of always performing like Closer to Fine by the Indigo Girls and Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, and just like having this really like emotional moment with all the girls who were going through Rush. So that was where I started playing guitar. I kind of let it slip for like a decade or so. And then when I moved out to the suburbs from New York City, I was like, I'm going to start a band. I've always wanted to start a band. I'm going to start a mom band. And I tried to recruit people for like, I don't know, 2 years until I met Sarah. And then I learned she could actually sing and she wanted to do it. And we like did like a little test run where we went to her house, like in like the depths of winter. We were like hovered by a fire, like strumming on a guitar. I was like really pretty mediocre guitar at that point. I've improved a lot since then, but we played for like, I don't know, 30 minutes. And then I'm like, okay, I think we can start a band. We know what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's definitely like jumping in, kind of, what's the phrase? Eat first?
Yeah, head first.
Head first.
Yeah.
Full body, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it was great. And I think for me too, having had all that background in music, and I'd done like the evening division at Juilliard when I was in the city, like I didn't have that outlet in Sleepy Hollow. And so I was really hungry to like, just be able to be participating in music again. And this was a great way to do it, like in the community too, which was really important to us. So
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. And it's just something about being able to get back to your passion and where you find yourself connecting with those around you. So
and a fun
I
fact,
don't really have to explain.
totally. I was actually the music chair at Tri Delta my junior year. So it was definitely something that, I really carried kind of throughout that journey. And it was really fun to have that kind of foundation at Tri Delta. And I think that was something we also connected over.
Yes, I love that. Music is so integral in Tri Delta. I was looking through our archives and just seeing how far we've come. I mean, it was so interwoven into our events, like convention and the convention choir and things of that nature. So cool to see how it's come. I don't know if you all know, but we don't have a music chair anymore. Yeah.
I gotta bring it back.
Yeah.
They can appoint them if the chapter wants to select their own, but now it's just kind of a part of one of the roles.
Right.
That's probably honestly what they might have is a TikTok coordinating chair, honestly, but makes sense. That's so cool to hear a little bit about your experience with music in the background. So, Alison, you'd already shared that you kind of tried to start to recruit to form a band prior to, and then once you all connected, we started to make the music together. Tell us about how you started to form the band and gather other local moms to join. What was that like?
Sure. So after I found Sarah, we kind of put the word out. We found somebody in the neighborhood who was like a classically trained pianist, like played Mozart. And she's like, sure, I'll do it. And then we convinced 2 other women that we were starting to become friends with that had never played the bass or never played the drums before that they could learn. I like Googled how to play the bass and I'm like, you can learn in 6 weeks, Alexia. So our friend learned in 6 weeks.
She'd had a violin background.
violin.
So she'd had some like string background, but brand new to the bass.
Yeah. And the drummer had never played an instrument, but she just had good rhythm. And so we started these like adult music lessons where we all got together as a band and we had a coach who kind of helped us figure out how to play songs together. And then a little bit later, we had our second singer join us. We recruited her just to build out the band more. I think at first we like really didn't know what we were doing. We had like a show within a couple months. Sorry, it was a couple months. We were playing at like our local river club on the Hudson River. And I feel like we were so nervous. We had no idea what we were doing. And we just got up there and did it. And I think part of our motto is it's never too late in life to just like do what you want to do and just to like get out there and do it. And don't let perfect be the enemy of the good, and just and we just did it. And what else about the forming of the band?
I think that was the big stuff. I will say I think it's it's never too late. And I will say the coolest thing now is like seeing other people who are watching us play and they're like, it's so amazing you did this. Like, it's just kind of gives, especially like women who, we're in our 40s and, we've got kids and careers. It's definitely, I think, inspiring for them to see us and say like, oh, they didn't know how to play, but they went and they just learned. So that just gives people the confidence of like, you can still try something new. You can still do something that puts you outside your comfort zone. It really is never too late.
Yes, I love that. And I love how we're talking about it doesn't need to be perfect to start too. And I think that's your story kind of has that perfect blend of kind of just going for it, but also you were strategic in some ways, right? Like we weren't just relying on just the YouTube videos. You brought in a coach to support you, but also you went with what was passionate. And I think that speaks volumes on just anybody starting a project, whether it's a band or anything, just going forward when you have that even just the willpower to want to do it, even if you don't have all of the steps planned out. You see the first step and you just take it. And I love how it's come to fruition for you all here. So we first formed in March of 2022. You had your first performance in July of 2022, which is a pretty quick turnaround, like you shared. Can you tell us a little bit more about your journey to that first performance and beyond? Just your performances after that.
Oh, well, we've definitely evolved since then. So that was like kind of like a friendly, it was like friends of just getting up there, trying our best. But now I guess we're 3 years later, like but there's like in Sleepy Hollow where we live, there's obviously a really big Halloween community. So we're like headlining a really big street fair where we're going to be performing for thousands of people. We've also had the experience of doing some fundraisers locally for the performing arts in the Sleepy Hollow School District, which has been really exciting to kind of, do something we love, but also gives back to the schools. But then we've also just kind of done, fun little things like down at like the local kind of like, bar restaurant scene, just being able to play out and about. So it's really been a mix, but it's exciting to have gone from, kind of novices as a band to getting paid to play some of these performances.
Oh, absolutely. I love that. Getting to that professional status. Absolutely.
Yeah, we've all been taking, I mean, not singers as much, but all of us who are new to the instruments are just like evolving or have been taking lessons to get better along the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that. Got to perfect that craft. I absolutely agree with that. I'm also a musician by trade. I should have told you all that as well. I was a high school choir teacher, so I also studied music in undergrad. So I'm just like, yep, I understand. But approaching a new instrument as an adult is already one thing, but to see how you all have culminated that experience and allowed folks to learn those new instruments and now perform and do it at a professional level is so inspiring. So
yeah, I think one of the
started with that part.
I think one of the coolest things too is like when we do these performances, like we'll perform at our local farmers market and you see the kids like up front dancing, and especially you see like little girls. And I think so often they're like, oh, I didn't know I could be in a band. Like, I think it's like a really cool way to show that like, not only is your mom someone who's cool or someone who has like interest in lives of their own, but someone that it's like, oh, like this is a possibility. Like I could do this. It's been fun to kind of see that, inspiring some of the younger generation too.
Yeah, it's visibility for everyone.
A lot of the little kids are like, Mom Band's my favorite band because we're the only band they've ever seen. So, and we play like a lot of songs from the radio. They've heard Pink Pony Club or like Apate. And so it's kind of, just we play a lot of like big covers that everyone knows and wants to sing and dance along to.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like a cool band. I have to come and check y'all out at some point when you're out and about.
Oh, come out, see.
Yeah, so I have to come out there and see you all. So, of course, we've got the mom band, but you also have day jobs, so to speak. Can you all tell us a little bit about what you all do full time?
Sure, I can jump in. So I work in marketing. I work at HBO Max, the app. I started when it was HBO, and I've been through like the big evolution to streaming. So it's been really exciting to be along for that ride. And, that's also like a bit of a creative outlet, obviously being able to talk about like the great shows that we're bringing to life on HBO. But also it's been really fun to have like my own creative outlet outside. So it's, it's a busy job. It's a big job, but I love it. And I feel like this is nice to have separate and apart so I can focus on that. But I have another outlet I know that's coming, like with the band, that I know that, okay, if it's been a big week, I know I've got the band to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And Alison?
Yeah, so I work I'm a freelancer right now, and my background is in consumer insights and culture and trends. So I write culture and trends reports for content providers. So I could be writing about Gen Z and some like bigger thoughts about like the generation, or I could be writing about TikTok trends. It's kind of a mix of interesting things that can feed into like show development. And I've found that, yeah, it's just great to have this as a balance in life. And I look forward to it every week. And I'm like chronically late for everything except for mom band. Like make my husband put the kids to bed, and I'm like running out the door to band because I'm so excited to do it.
I love that it's just that it still gives that excitement and that creativity too, right? It keeps that passion going for you all. How would you say that your journey with Mom Band has inspired you either personally or professionally or even both?
Yeah, I think it's been a big confidence builder. I think it's funny. I was like, as we were reflecting about Tri Delta and everything, I feel like us from the beginning, be able to just get out there and try something new really speaks to the fact that we're all really confident people. Like we still have fears and anxieties like anyone else. But I also think having had that foundation too at Tri Delta, I actually think that was really important to like build that foundation of like community and support and confidence. I actually was the president of our chapter my last year. So I think like just those leadership skills and all of that really fed into, now with the band feeling like we can get up on stages that seem scary, but I do feel like it's inspired me to continue to push myself to see like what else I can do. So, and then, like I said, it's also been great to see how it inspires others. So it's kind of cyclical. It's been great.
Yeah, I love that. Allison?
I kind of echo all of that. That's kind of what I
Mhm.
like too. Yeah, it's given me a lot of confidence that I can do anything.
Mhm. And trying
I
out
like
new
that it
things.
like shows my kids too that you can just get out there and do something that you want, start something you want to do.
Well, and resiliency too, because there's definitely some performances I'll go off the stage and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, I did not sound good on that song, or I messed up that part or whatever. And, you get in your head and you get
Mm-hmm.
critical. And it's a good way to be like, you know what? Like I did my best. I have some learnings. I'll take those learnings. I'll apply those learnings. And then the next time you go in feeling even more confident. So I think it's a good exercise in like picking yourself back up too, because we're never going to be perfect every show.
And
Yeah.
you tend to magnify your mistakes, and then your friends who've seen the show are like, "What? You sounded great. Didn't notice the things." So it's a good lesson in just like not being so hard on yourself because nobody else is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. I think as musicians, we can often be our own worst critics. I mean, women, musicians, people, honestly, can be. So I love how this has instilled so much confidence in you and the people around you too, as well. I think it's great. So getting a little bit back more into the band, you all released your first single. This is not a midlife crisis. Can you tell us about the inspiration behind your song, its message, and what was the process like for releasing it?
Sure. So this is not a midlife crisis is available on all major streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. So I don't know. We all were kind of hovering around writing songs, and then I just had this line that kept sticking in my head, which is "This is not a midlife crisis," and I guess it's kind of obviously about like starting a band. This is not a midlife crisis, but like anything in life that like you're doing or seizing or deciding that you want to do midlife is just like part of your journey, and it's realizing the dreams that you've always had and that you should just go for it and not worry about what other people think. And it's kind of a little tongue in cheek, like this is not a midlife crisis. And we have one line in it that's like, I, it's like, I don't give, that too.
Yeah.
And like, I don't, it's my I don't give a 40 something era, which is, kind of tongue in cheek, but it's like I'm 40 and I'm just doing what I want to do and living life.
Yeah. And it was Allison's brainchild, so she wrote it, and it was fun to like work on arrangements for it, and then to really get into a studio, like something we'd
Okay.
never really done. Like I had done some a cappella recording, which was a very different experience than doing it with band. So I think it was just exciting for us to like, again, check another new thing kind of off the list, but get into a room and like get more experimental and have fun with it. And then to hear it come together and then to hear like, I don't know, again, people just like it bringing them such joy, like kids who are saying, that's my favorite song, or my kids being like, Alexa, play This Is Not a Midlife Crisis. Like, it's really fun just to like have it out in the world and, just if nothing else, like have it be like a little snapshot in time for all of us where this has meant so much. And it's just fun to be able to share it with others who might be able to relate.
Yes, that sounds like it's such a rewarding experience, and you've got so many fans already playing your jams out. So that's really cool to hear how you all developed that and got into the studio with it as well. So Sarah, you had kind of already started to allude to this in one of your answers earlier about some of the skills that you would gain through Tri Delta and how that had set you up to this point. But I wonder if you all would want to kind of elaborate just a little bit more about what else did Tri Delta teach you that you're still using today in your careers and in the band?
Yeah. So we talked a lot about confidence. That was definitely one. I think also being able to like just navigate kind of collaboration. Like there's a big group of women who have very diverse ideas and viewpoints. And like, again, we're saying these are people that we really looked up to and we're very bright and smart. So just how do we use all of that, harness all these different opinions to find like a common path together. So I think that, especially in business, is so important. Like how can you make sure you're listening, taking feedback, making informed decisions that are going to benefit like the greater organization? I use that every day. So I think I really kind of flex those muscles back in Tri Delta. Conflict resolution, being able to work through some of those tougher moments. But that prepares you for life because that's exactly what you're doing on the day to day. So I'd say those are probably my biggest examples.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said all of mine. I was
Sorry.
It's totally. I think I was kind of shy in high school, and I think like being in the sorority really kind of helped build my confidence. And I was the VP of finance and treasurer. I don't know. I was in all these like financial roles because I was in business school. And I think like that just gave me a lot of confidence to be able to manage like the budget of the house. And I sat on the committee where we managed conflicts and talked through situations and our vision and our plans and all those things like really translated into business.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. And for our listeners out there, especially our collegiate listeners, you're hearing here how important it is to develop those skills of compromise and collaboration and confidence in the experiences that you're having in your collegiate experience, because you never know, you might end up using them later on down the line. So what is next for the Mom Band? What do we have in the horizon for the group?
Madison Square Garden. No, I feel like, gotta think big, but I don't know. For me, I think it's been fun to just have like a cadence of performances coming up, but it would be great to record more songs. To have like a full EP would be really cool. Because I think there's some like, competitions that exist locally or in New York City that it would be fun just to like, enter in and see if we can build our audience. But, it's just fun to continuously have that kind of like, potential gigs coming down the pike. So I think we've got some venues we've got our eye on, and I don't know. For me, that's what I'd like to focus on.
We really want to play in New York City.
I know. I think
that would be fun.
Yeah, a dream spot would be New York City. Any specific venue or just in the city?
There's a very famous place that I feel like we should play at called the Bitter End. It's it's a smaller venue, but like back old folk singers sang there. Lady Gaga's sang there when she was kind of up and coming. So I do feel like that would be a really fun. So if you're listening, you can book us there. We're available. But it'll be fun. So I think we're also figuring out the best way to package up kind of Mom Band, like all the materials and everything, so that we can have like a proper pitch to all of the different venues. As we continue to play around with this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know we've got some resources here. I'm not going to put my colleagues up on the spot, but I know we've got some amazing folks over at Brand Advancement that might be able to help you market yourselves a little bit more. Where can our listeners find you if they want to listen to your music? I know you said that This Is Not a Midlife Crisis is on all streaming platforms. But where else can they find you if they want to get connected or just follow along with what you all have going on with the Mom Band?
I think you could follow us at the Mom Band on Instagram. That's probably the best place. On there's like also a link tree where you can get to all of the different streaming platforms. We got to build into TikTok. That's aspirational. We're on our way. Again, we're in our 40s, so we're figuring that out. But I do think there's, we're going to hopefully get some more content. Like we said, we're a big Halloween town. We have a bunch of shows coming up, so we'll continue to kind of put clips from the shows out there.
Okay.
The Mom Band.
Yeah, at the
Yes.
Band. Yes.
Exactly how you would think it's spelled. Very simple.
Exactly.
Very easy. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sarah and Allison. It has been great learning a little bit about you all's journey to found the Mom Band, to instill confidence in yourselves, the women around you, and instilling confidence back in our Tri Delta sisters and bringing some of the lessons that you've learned in Tri Delta along the way. It has been so inspiring to hear from you all today and just fun to hang out and chat a little bit. I want to thank
us.
Yes, of course. Thank you. And I want to thank all of our listeners today for tuning in today. Are you connected to Tri Delta? Do you have your My Tri Delta account? If you don't have one, you might be missing out on some of the latest Tri Delta news and opportunities. So make sure to go to tridelta.org and click My Tri Delta in the top corner to claim your account and make sure that you are staying in the loop with all things Tri Delta. Make sure to like, subscribe, and rate our podcast. We love 5-star ratings. Thank you all so much for joining us. And until next time, Delta love.